Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is an update for Solana. Since last update, not too much has changed. I'm going to show you down on the really micro level to show a way that we pivot here. It's fully valid, but at the moment, got into this trade yesterday at the 382, stops right on the other side of the 50. That's the high probability area for our fourth wave if this ends up being a 5-wave pattern up to here. Looking to take profit up around this level, in which case we would expect a retracement as an ABC and look to re-enter lower. Probably somewhere around $25, $26 currently, but we'll have to pull the pivots later to get some exact counts. If we fail here, then chances are this was a 3-wave pattern and we'd look for 5 waves to complete here as our wave 1 in a C. So it'd have to be a leading diagonal ending here. Then had a 1, 2, working on our 3, working on our 4th, 5th for our 3rd wave, come up for our 4th, get our 5th, and that would be our wave 1. Our wave 1 of the C wave to the downside, in which case we'd expect us to collapse afterwards, but lots of time to get that entry if that happens. And just quickly out on the 4-hour, what that would look like is we'd be looking for our C wave down. I'd be targeting on a log scale here because everything lines up around that $13 mark. That's the 618 and the 1-to-1 extension of this A wave off the B if it's complete. And that would pull together a larger ABC or a WXY, where this is our first 3 waves. Sorry. This is our first 3 waves, looking for 3 in here, up for 3 or 5 as either a flat or a WXY. So we're right in the middle of a potential pivot. If we don't hold here and move to the upside, I believe probabilities shift pretty highly that we're coming down because we shouldn't pass the 50% and absolutely invalidated at this wave 1 high at 2054 on Binance because the 4th wave cannot overlap the 1st. So it's a pretty exciting area to see what ends up happening here. As you can see, this would have to be a WXY where we get a B, C here to complete and where our low is in. I want to show you what I'm doing on the micro level. And that is on BitGet. I'm trading this just to show you how we could bottom. Now I took a couple scalps yesterday. None really panned out so far, but I've entered in. I'm in it right now. First of all, this was the low. There's the 50. I suggest to you guys that this could be a wave 1. And we're working on our wave 2. I ended up buying here. My average price was the 50. Right here, I got the 382, the 50, and the 618 long. So my trade setup looked like this. Stop was at this low, looking for this to take off. Like so. Just pull this back. And I was looking, once we got this was my thought process. Once we got this, I said that's an impulse. So we should not break this low again. So I was expecting us to get a 1, 2, 3. We take off. So at this point, I raised my stop to this pivot. And once we started moving to the upside and we broke this high, I said the only way this can turn into an impulse if we come back is if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2. And that would look like this, and we'd have 3 1-2s back to back, right? And then we'd take off for our 3rd of the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 4th, 5th, and off to the races we go. So once we broke this high over here, I then move my stop to this pivot. So there's no way I could lose money at that point, right? So what happened is we came up here and we rejected hard. And if I put on my extensions here. This is when I started to pull them when we rejected. You can see we stopped at between the 618 and the 786. And if you have followed along with my teachings there, you know that we usually in a leading diagonal stop at the 618, and our target for our fifth is the 786. So then it appeared to me, okay, we probably have a leading diagonal here or an A wave. So I got stopped out right here. That's where I got stopped out, slight profit, and I started putting on this trend line. Because I thought, okay, maybe this is an A, B, C, and we make a slightly lower low, and then we go as a flat. But when we rejected here, I didn't get an entry here. When we rejected here, I said, okay, we're probably going to get a correction now, and this is either a leading diagonal or an A wave. So we came pretty deep on our retracement. As you can see, we even passed the 786 from this correction. So probabilities shifted that this is more of a corrective move. But again, I don't want to miss this, because if we remember on the larger trend, our fourth wave should not go below this 50. So either we got like a truncated fifth, and this was just a B, C with a flat in between, and this is a truncated fifth, and we're starting our wave up, or this is a leading diagonal with a quick sell-off, and this is our 1, 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a triangle 5, and we got our corrective move here. So I got in on this wave, currently in long. Not sure the exact prices, I'll have to check after, but I got in same buys 382.50 and 618. Right in this area, average price was the 50. And once we broke this high, my stop is raised up to here. So again, very short entry, and I can't lose that much, maybe half a unit if this stops out on us. So on the 5 minute, what I'm looking at here is if this is the leading diagonal and this was a quick wave 2, it looks like this could be potentially a 3. I don't think there's overlap there, a 3, 4, 5, or a series of nested 1-2s, and we take off. So if our bottom is in, we'd expect to come up to the 1.618 extension, our fifth, third, fourth, and fifth. And where that gets us is up to the previous pivot level. As you can see, our previous fourth wave up in this area, or sorry, our previous second wave, and we would expect a pivot down, at which point I'll look for an entry again in this area. So right now, if I I lost that first trade in slight profit. If I lose the second scalp, it will be a slight loss, probably break even between the two. But if we get moving, I have a pretty good position size, and I'll update that in a later video. Hard to see what the count is yet. We could have a completed 1-2 here. We come down pivot, but I'm going to leave my stop right at this level. Because if this is a 1-2, we'd expect to hold above the 618 and probably somewhere in this area as support. I'm not going to let that run all the way to the bottom from here. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. We'll see if we get it. Again, if we just fail here, I'd expect this to be an A. We could come down for another wave here. This becomes a correction in itself as a zigzag, and we can get an A, B, C for a flat, and then come down to the downside. I know these are pretty complex patterns to pay attention to, but just pay attention to pattern breaks, and that's right there for me currently. The bullish move would be done if we break that low, and I would expect this to turn into a flat pattern like so, and then more downside. But right now, currently long, looking for the move to the upside for my scalp, and we'll see if we get our 5 waves up on Solana. If we don't, again, we'd expect a pivot down for our wave 3, not to overlap with our 1, get our 5, and then I'll short from this area after we get our completed 5. All right, guys, that's it for Solana. I won't be updating these scalps. I just wanted to show you how we could move to the upside from here. And it starts on the micro level, and we need this to turn into an impulse. The negatives of it is how deep we came on this retracement. The positives of it is on this wave down. If this was an impulse, we're already past the 618. I believe we're at the 786. And you know, if on an impulse, you'd expect us to hold the 618 area, and it looks like we're correcting sideways. So those are the evidence we have for the upside. It looks pretty good at the moment. My only concern is if this just stops at the 1-to-1 extension here of this first wave, that could just be a flat pattern to the downside. But I will raise that stop once we get up there, and I'll be at least break even in this trade. All right, guys, that's it for Solana. Thanks for watching.